I think I gotta clean that lens.
That or my eyes are dirty.
So, oh yeah, it's much better. No one's here yet. So I had, I'm cooking right now. I'm making supper for all of us tonight, which means I have to start it now. So hang on a second. I have not started my morning routine of, you guys are actually in the tripod this morning for the live feed because I haven't made coffee yet. What's up, Neves? I had a guy that contacted me the other night, Cody, and he said that that's not great. He was watching Michael Christie and he was watching some of my stuff and he had a bunch of questions about sharpening, and I'm hoping that he logs in because I told him we were on the phone and he was a nice enough guy. It was just the conversation was not going to go anywhere because explaining over the phone the aspects of what the apex is and things like that when you're sharpening, it just wasn't going to work. He had too many questions that would have required a visual. So if he logs in and starts asking some questions while I'm cooking, I'm making a Cajun bean soup. This is one of those, you were just watching Mike Christie? I don't watch too many channels. Like I watch every once in a while. I catch one of your videos, you and your wife. It's cool. I wish my wife would do a YouTube video with me. Like the only time we have videos is of us together is when we go to the ice rinks. She just doesn't like being on the camera. I want to do a family. I wish we did more family stuff, but we really don't. Like I said, if you guys don't know, Matt Carricker's brother passed away from cancer. I'm wearing my Demolition Ranch hat in videos this month, just out of respect. But at any rate, so my beans have already soaked overnight. I got to get them started. But first things first, coffee's got to happen. He was talking about carbide tear out. There's another thing. I'm still here. I'm just making coffee. There's another thing. I was talking to another guy named Ben Spalos about. He does a lot of stuff on Instagram. He's a young kid. I made him a knife one time as a gift. He's a good kid. We used to talk more regular than we do now. But we were talking about burr root and things like that. And there's so many things out there that people talk about in sharpening that, like, I know about like metals and like I like to learn about metals and some of the science of it, but there's some stuff out there that's like, it really doesn't matter to me. It's not that it doesn't matter. It's just like if you're doing specific things like these guys are taking, I'm not gonna have enough water for this. These guys are taking steels to such super thin and super fine edges, Ben is anyway, to see what the maximum is, how far he can push that. I do a polished edge because customers like it and I only take it to a certain point, but I also recognize the fact that there's a lot of times that edge wouldn't be useful. I'm more of a functional sharpener. Like for me, that's 1,000 grit edge on this, and it's almost finer than I would want for this. It's okay for here if I was actually doing anything. No, I guess it's got a lot of bite. So that was 2 cups. I'll just use tap water. Or 6. 6 to 1,200, yeah. But no, he had some questions about like, what's your actual edge? What's your actual, all this stuff. Let me make sure I've got live chat. Guys, I will be making sure I chat morning. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Morning, Alex. I think I just put one more in. Yeah, 1 more cup. This is one of those cheap, easy needles. It's just time consuming. I don't know why I brought this out. What you making? Beans. It's a 15 bean. It's dried beans. I'm making bean soup. It's a pack of 15 beans, and I'm gonna make into a soup. I'm gonna use the flavor packet and everything that came with it. So. I made this last week, and it lasted like 3 or 4 days. Just put it in a crock pot, let the beans cook. I'm gonna do the sausage and onions momentarily. I'll move you guys over here. I'll move the tripod somehow. Get that set up. But no, it's just like, I think a thing of beans is knife I'm using as a user. Yeah, I have a lot of customers that love the like 10 and 12,000 grit edges, even at work, and I'm like, I don't know what it must be people that are not cutting anything fine. I know a guy that works in a place where they wrap everything with this heavy white Visqueen. We use it on the job sites. It's a big roll of plastic, and it's all folded in on itself, and then they use that and they wrap stuff up, and that's like they package stuff up and ship it like that. And he loves a 10,000 grit edge. He says it just glides through that plastic stuff, but I also have to sharpen his knives fairly often because he'll usually bring me 3 work knives, and then a couple months later I'm sharpening them all over again, because you guys would be surprised how hard plastics like that, polypropylenes and like that Visqueen, the whitish clear fucking plastic covering, anytime you're cutting anything like that, it's really, really hard on an edge. They're really wear resistant. All right, let me get out my makings. It's just a pack of beans, a thing of Italian sausage. It came with a flavor pack. This is that, it's just dried beans. Just soak them overnight. All I need is an onion, 1 pack of sausage. What do you think? Too much or too high as functional edge or grit? I don't know. Some of my knives have a super fine edge. My Archbishop has got a 10,000 grit edge. It cuts great, but it's also not a knife that I would carry out to a job site. This has got a 400 grit edge, and this is what I carry on a job site. Just it's all depends on what you're gonna do with the knife. If I was cutting rope and line, this. If I was cutting fucking rope or line, this. If I was cutting fucking cheeses and fucking packages and stuff, but the fucking grit edge might work fine. I do know that that I feel like sometimes polishing the edge, even though it's a toothier edge, like I hit this on the strops, just to polish the tops, it just feels like there's a little less friction when you cut, and the edge seems to last a little bit longer. So yes, at the apex it's still 1,000 grit, and all I've done is just hit the tops of the micro serrations on a strop aggressively, not trying to refine the edge at all, but just basically to smooth some of the surface, and then it still has the cutting potential at the apex. Not like I'm not polishing all the way apex, but I'm not polishing it like to take out the scratch. I'm not removing the scratch pattern. I'm just polishing it, making it look nice. And some steel's 1,000 grit edge takes a mirror. Wood processing loves and polishes. Yeah, if you're doing anything where you're cutting wood that you want to finish smooth, same with cutting metals in a lathe. The sharper and finer the edge is on your tool, the closer you are to your finished product with that tool. So when you're cutting wood, if you want something for like, if say you're doing woodworking, you want those knives to be as fine of an edge to give you a really clean surface finish that you're not having to do a lot of sanding. See, it did it today. Started beeping at the 6 cup mark.
But
Let me get a frying pan out. Figure out how I'm gonna move you guys over there. The first thing is first. I gotta cut up. It's lying. What's lying? Oh, coffee pot. Yeah, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm tired. I stayed up late. We watched. Yeah. We Matt, Nico, and I did a Netflix party on a computer, and we sat up. And I'm not gonna lie, I drank a bunch of whiskey last night. Not as much with them as I did. I got a hold of one of my friends from high school, and we did the same thing. So last night I watched Peter Davidson, I think, the guy from Saturday Night Live. Fucking hilarious comedy special. And then we watched Harold and Kumar. Oh, okay, 6 your time or 6 my time? There's a big difference, because 6 your time is 3 my time, which would be 9 your time. But anyway, no, we did that, and then watched Harold and Kumar. Watched Harold and Kumar go to White Castles, doing the same thing. It's actually kind of cool. But hang on a second, I'm never gonna get this done if I don't get started. I'm still here, but back in the day, because I was in the military, we reached a point in the military where I had friends, really good friends that I had known for years, and I got stationed somewhere far away. And so one of my buddies was in the United States, one of my buddies was still down in, yeah, I watched it. It's great. So what we would do is, I had one buddy that was down in southern Japan. I had one buddy that was all the way back in the United States. Luckily, he worked a weird shift. We would, on Fridays for me, Saturdays for my buddy in the States, we would all pick a movie that we knew we owned. And if one of us didn't have it, we'd try and rent it. And we would fucking set a time that we would start it, and then we would do basically the same thing you're doing on Netflix party on Yahoo Messenger, and we would just watch the movie and then BS. And so I was like, that's what I was telling those guys last night. I was like, we did this back in the day, back in the early 2000s. We were doing shit like this. So it was a good time. It was a lot of fun. Okay, so Neves said something. Which Rockstead should I buy? A Shin? You want the Shin. If you're gonna get one, get the. I thought I saw somebody say something for cooking. Get the Shin. If you're gonna get one, you may as well get their flagship. It's not any more. I don't think it's any more expensive, really, to tell you the truth. I don't see a price difference to the point where, like, if I was gonna get one, I would get the top of the line one. My grill knife? Well, I mean, I have a grill knife, and I think everybody that watches this knows it's a Grimsmo Norseman. I would love to have a Grimsmo Norseman. I can't afford a Grimsmo Norseman, and I don't foresee any time in the future me owning a Grimsmo Norseman. Mark V, Jake Hoback. Well, I will keep my mouth shut because I don't want to ruin your hopes and dreams. I just don't like Jake Hoback. It has nothing to do with the knife. I just don't. I've heard too many stories about it. I just don't. It's nothing to do with the knife. Let me make that clear. It's nothing to do with the knife. I had one. I had a Mark III. But I want to do this. My wife, it's not corona. I'm telling you right now, she does not have coronavirus, but my wife does not feel good. And I want to do something to help. You know, if supper's ready, then that means she doesn't have to make anything tonight. Paul. What guy, Paul? Yes, I have a Ferrum Forge buck. Who are you talking about, Dwayne? Paul. Kickstarter knife guy. Paulo. Oh yeah. That dude. I haven't said anything about Paulo for a while. I haven't heard anything about Paulo for a while. He kind of fell off the map, I think. Food prep. I have a friend, this is his entire job. All he does is food prep at a restaurant. Veg prep. He works at the prep station, so all he does is chop up onions, chop up garlic, chop up onions and chop up garlic. That's basically it. That's his existence in a nutshell. Paulo Blazano. We haven't had, that's been a subject that's been out in the wind for a while. I have to talk to Mr. Chavez and see if he's got any new news. I don't want to ruin his it's his grill knife. My grill knife, here's the thing with grill knives. I did a whole video about it. I did an entire video about grill knives. When you finally get your grill knife, you find another one. That's the problem, and that's why I quit looking. You know, I quit looking at knives. I'm like, I gotta stop looking, because I'll keep buying. And we know, I've discussed it, my current financial situation. Do you like brown knives, like the Servo? Brown knives. Oh yeah, brown. Yes, I do. Super smooth. The Holt Spectre is nice. What was the other one? Get a Shiro. The Arius, the Koenig Arius is a nice knife. I think the blade stock's a little thick. I have one coming in for sharpening. And I talked to Bill about this at a show. Their sharpening grind, I usually have to reprofile the sharpening grind because it's inconsistent. I haven't seen any of the new ones for a while, but I told Bill, I was like, you're gonna see a video where I talk about this. What was that, Dwayne? What did Dwayne have to say? Yeah, that's why I'm not working. So, but yeah, I told Bill at the show, I was like, you're gonna come across a video where I'm bitching about your sharpening on your knives. Shiros aren't bad. I think that they're pricier than they should be. Don't get me wrong, I love them. I carry Matthews anytime I get a chance. But it's a lot like that Benchmade 940 that I want. Is S90V with titanium scales. I want it, but I can't justify the cost because, well, Benchmade, their quality is the reason. I can't justify the cost of that knife. It's kind of the same thing with the other knives, you know what I mean? How's Nico doing? He's good. I talked to Nico yesterday. So, it's taking me forever to cut up this onion. OG Mordax. The reason is a lot of the old OG Ferrum Forge knives have got incredible action for a couple of reasons. One, the detent on their knives is set really deep and stiff. And it's a heavy blade. Once it gets going, the action on them are great. Well, don't forget that knife's been ceramic coated and it's been broke in. It's not new. It's an old knife. Like, it's new to you, and it may look brand new because it's been refinished. And Nico did work on it. Elliot did work on it. I did work on it. It's been tumbled and blasted, and so that, I mean, basically you got a free break-in on that. Because they, Shomwari? Okay. Another underwhelmed response? When you got what? Your Mordax? No, I had just sharpened it. I just sharpened it. It takes a little bit for that grit to work its way out. So I do not recommend a sharpening system. It's better to just get some cheap knives and teach yourself how to sharpen. Let's see, how am I gonna do this? You guys are coming over here with me for a trip. We're gonna collapse this tripod down. I mean, they just got sharpened, and so there was probably a little bit of moisture left. I oiled them. I did not tear them back down after I sharpened them, but it was probably, because they were really smooth when I started. It was probably a little bit of, you guys getting a 360 view of my fucking kitchen here. They probably just needed a little bit of play with time. There we go. So now I can talk to you guys while I'm doing this. Because I gotta fry up some sausages. Flush them out with brake cleaner, add in some oil, now it's perfect. What's my favorite steel? I prefer not to steel. I'm a law-abiding citizen. My favorite steel is 20 CV. And 20 CV and Damasteel / RWL 34. They're kind of the same. Those are my favorites. I like S90V. We're gonna have some weird light because the sun is coming in that window. S90V, but 20 CV, M390, they're pretty much my favorites. I had a dull kitchen knife the other day. Can you believe it? My wife was like, can you do something about this? I was like, what? She's like, I was looking at it, I was like, oh my God. When was the last time I sharpened these knives? But in my defense, it was in her butcher block, not mine. Oh, I will, Alex. I'm starting dinner now because this is going to take a few hours for it all to cook. So I was waiting for the question that the guy was asking me when I talked to him on the phone. So you guys know, how do I say this? I ignore my phone most of the time unless I recognize who it is. So if you guys try to call me, there's a good chance you're not gonna get a hold of me. Best way is text. And it's just because it started to get overwhelming and people are like, well, take the fucking phone. Well, you're welcome to leave a message. And I may respond to said message, but in likelihood with a text. But tell people to quit calling in your videos and you just keep putting your phone number out. Well, it's there for a reason. Just don't be offended if I don't answer the phone. You know what I mean? I can't answer because, and that's part of the reason I had to there's two reasons. I had a boss that would call me at all hours of the day and night when I still work for government, but I had put limits on my phone. My phone goes on Do Not Disturb. At this point, no, because I have sharpened so many knives. And you got to remember, I have so many knives that I never really actually stopped sharpening. And I sharpen knives for Matt and Nico and my friends. And I still have customers send me stuff. It's just not, the business is not viable to run it as my sole source of income right at the moment. It's just not working out like that. So No, I don't get out of practice. I can't actually scroll through you guys' comments from at the moment because I got fucking pork grease all over my hands. Let me wash this off and I will. I'm far enough away from the screen I can't see your comments. This is a perfect example of something I was telling somebody. Somebody was asking me like, why heat? How just adding heat changes the steel structure? If you want to see how heat changes something fundamentally, get sausage or pork grease on your hands before you cook and then after. See what the heat does to the fat, how it's changed it fundamentally. You can't just wash pig fat, pork fat, you get it on your hands like right now before it's cooked. You can rinse it right off of water. No problem. After it's cooked, you can't wash that shit off. You gotta have soap. All right, now let me scroll through these. I'm doing baby back ribs. I gotta pull them out of their soak and make a fire so I can slow cook them. Yeah. Today's the first day it hasn't rained in like a week. Yesterday it rained so fucking hard that I was afraid water was about to come under my front door. My whole yard is still flooded. And you guys know I can't sharpen. It makes such a mess. I can't sharpen knives in the house. So I have a couple knives here. I've been talking to people. The guys, there's just no way for me to even get out there. My whole yard is flooded. My whole workbench is wet and flooded. My light's not even hooked up. I took everything down. So my buddy sent me pictures of Post Malone. And it showed him with like animals and all these face tattoos and shit. And he's like, 100% Post Malone would have been Joe Exotic's next husband. And I was like, oh my god. It was Tino. It was Martino. It was Matt. That was the funniest shit I'd seen in a while. So I was talking with, I don't know, I'm gonna have to get a hold of Justin at Fiberlight Fire Stars and see if he was serious or maybe he was drunk when we talked about it. He was asking if I was going to Blade Show West and I was like, I can't afford it. He's like, what if I take you? And I was like, I could do that. So we'll see. There may be a knife show for me this year, besides the Cali Custom Show. I don't even know if they're going to have the Cali Custom Show this year. So, sorry to be like right up on you. This is a weird angle. You're in the corner of my kitchen counter, right up against the cupboards. Like leaned up against, like touching the toaster. It's just a weird spot. I've never filmed from here. So the sausage, I don't want to burn it. So I added a little bit of white wine because it was still kind of frozen. And now it smells amazing. So I wanted to let it thaw out before it browned. Because what it was doing was just, it wasn't thawing out, it wasn't breaking up. So if you ever have that, say you have a little bit of ground beef and you need to like brown it real fast, but it's still frozen in spots and you can't just break it apart the way you want. I have a portable tripod. This is, you're on a tripod. I shortened the legs of it. I just put it up on the counter. It's just at a weird angle because it's like at the, like the toaster's there. I can't move. There's no really place for me to move the toaster to. What I was saying is, if like you're cooking, say, ground pork, and it's still a little frozen, and it doesn't want to break up and break apart the way you want, so it's just like small pieces, add a little bit of white wine to the bottom of your pan, and it'll steam it and thaw it, and keep it from browning until that liquid burns off, and then you can brown it all. Could probably do with having that light on. That didn't help at all. I have to, this light up here, it's got to get a bulb, and I can't find them. It's an old enough light that I can't find the actual bulb for it. So I'm gonna have to install a new light, like I did in the bathroom. So this will break up more once it's in. I just want to get a little color on it. Before I throw the onions in for them to sweat down. And then I'm not adding this for a couple hours. That's got to start to simmer.
Are these beans getting hot at all? Yeah, they're starting to warm up.
There we go. So what's everybody? There's no questions. This makes, if you guys can ask questions, this is what makes the live feeds fun. We've been doing this for 32 minutes, and then if you guys have not gotten, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I've had a lot of really expensive kitchen knives come in. I don't think they're any better than this one that Mattia Barani and Mark Begg came up with over at Mattia Barani Cutlery. If you want a custom one, they're like $400. These, the ones that they did on Kickstarter, I think they're like $150. Do I like revolvers? Love revolvers. I love revolvers because they're simple. The more complicated you make something, the more chance of failure. Revolvers and 1911s. Those are right up my alley. To go check the indoor pantry for some spices. Some minced garlic. We have 3 pantries. My computer room actually acts as a dry goods pantry for all Japanese stuff, all of our canned stuff. I have had this since before Kickstarter started. This was a gift from Mattia Barani. I did a video. Nico also has one. He had been selling them at shows. Nico got one. He was selling limited quantities at a show just to try and get like reviews and stuff like that. I did a review of the one that Nico had when it was here. Nico wanted me to sharpen it. He had used it. Did a review. Told Mattia, I was like, hey, I did a video about your knife. I'd already sent him stuff about, I had sharpened some of their customs and stuff like that. I was like, oh, cool, send me a link to it. And I was like, yeah, it's a great knife. And I sent it to him, and he's like, watched the review. Like 2 days after I did the review, I get a message from him. He goes, hey, man, I watched that video. He's like, that was a great video. He's like, and he's like, me and Mark were talking about it. He's like, you can tell that you like the knife. It's not just that we're friends. He's like, so just because you like that knife so much, and you said several times in the video that you wish you bought one at the show, he's like, we're going to send one to you. I was like, oh, man, are you serious? Fucking came. It was great. Mattia Barani is probably one of the nicest. Well, I mean, all the guys you meet at knife shows are great guys. All right, I got a little color on this. I'm going to add my onions and sweat them down. This is a quandary. This is the biggest frying pan I have, and it doesn't appear. I may have to add a little bit of wine to this too to sweat them down, so I don't burn anything. All right, I saw a comment. Hang on, let me look at that. Do you have fancy cooking knives? I mean, yeah, I got some. Most of them are like, I have this. I have a fairly nice Santoku. I don't go for the over-the-top expensive stuff. I find a good steel in a good thickness, and I usually, you know, if it's a good knife, good steel, and it's ground well, I'm usually not the guy that's gonna fucking go out and break the bank on a kitchen knife. Because while I've had some really expensive kitchen knives come in, I don't see them as being, I see them as more of a status. Like, oh, hey, I got this, I have this kitchen knife. If you have a well-made knife, maybe cheaper, same blade, same general shape, as long as it's well-made. And I do know that there's some people that like chefs. Chefs have specific criteria what they want, how it feels in hand, the fatigue, the way they handle, the way they want to be able to hold it, and things like that. I don't cook enough that like I have to think about that all the time. I do know that this knife is extremely comfortable with its tapered handle and everything. But like, so for somebody like me that I just cook, I'm not a chef. I think it would be wasteful to spend that much money on a fucking like custom kitchen knife. Like the most I would spend on a kitchen knife probably $400. Like, but that would have to be something that would happen, and it wouldn't be for me. It would be for my sister. It would be a gift. It would be one of Matia's custom kitchen knives. But she already has a set. She's like me. She's like, I have a set kitchen knives. They're fine. Yeah, I'm gonna have to add a little bit of. Well, maybe not. I think these are. That smells amazing. Something about fucking Italian sausage and onions. It's time to trim my mustache. It keeps getting in stuff. So, yeah. Oh, I know what I know what I forgot to add last time. Well, like I said, I have, all right, like here, let's pick this tripod up. Let's flip this around. I have 2 kitchen blocks. I have 2 butcher blocks full of knives. I don't need to look for any more kitchen knives. I have plenty. And the fact is that I make, okay, Cole, I have an email address that you're going to see in the description below, not the phone number. Email me and I will send you a link to my entire pricing structure as far as everything. It's a little easier than me trying to spout up. I do have to tell you guys that shipping will increase because they changed the price of packages. So if you email me, Cole, I will send you a link to my pricing structure. Just like I said, keep in mind, shipping. I add like $5 $5 handling charge to any for return shipping. So they raised the price. They raised the price, and I didn't realize it. They raised the price of flat rate packages. So whatever the price of the flat rate package is, so right now it's like $8.30. Add $5 to that. That's your shipping and handling for return. Unless you want insurance, and then you got to pay extra for the insurance. I have found though that adding insurance adds risk, and I've had a couple customers tell me that they don't worry about the insurance because they've insured other packages, and it was too hard to get the money. Like they never got any money out of it. And I was like, oh, so a lot of my customers are like, nah, I don't even bother with the insurance. It's just extra. It adds extra interest in your package. Because then they're like, well, there's something worth something in here because it's insured. And it's insured, they can get it back. So I'll just steal it.
Not saying that all of our postal workers are like that. I'm just saying there are some. Because I lost a knife that Dwayne Smotherman bought for me as a gift because I sent that Skaha 2 that he bought for me off for another reviewer, and they both got lost. My box and his. And we tried to get... We tried and tried and tried to get the money back for that. Nothing. So, unless you're sending me something like a fucking $8,000 or $10,000 knife, which I have had happen. I had a guy send me like $30,000 worth of knives here last year. I couldn't even do a video on. That's what sucked. Well, those have sweat down. That is all color and good. Put a couple celery seeds in. I like the taste of celery, but I don't like the texture. So if you are in the same situation as me, use celery seed. Wait, what was that? Who said something? Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was on its way back. So the Bestech Swordfish and my Skaha 2 both got lost in the same package because it had come in for review and sharpening, and it was going back, and I was like, I'll throw my Skaha in for this guy to put on his channel, and they both got lost. But all in all, when you think about how many knives I've sent and shipped and reviewed and sent back for customers and stuff like that, I think there's only been 2 that got lost in transit on their way there. 2 that got lost in transit on their way back to customers. And one of them got found later. And then there was 2 like that, and then there was one package that showed up here that got stolen, and one that got misdelivered and was stolen at the misdelivered address. The package came, somebody signed for it, and then they fucking said that oh no, we didn't get that. So there's the problem, is when you guys send me stuff, let me give these a couple more minutes and then I'll put them in that bowl. When you guys send me stuff, like, when we run into problems is when people send me stuff and they're like, oh, I want a signature. Well, my mailman knows he can leave stuff under the door here, right behind where if I turned the camera around, you'd be looking into a corner, but there's a spot there that, like, that's where he could slide stuff under my gate. But if he requires a signature, he can't do that. And I'm not always home. So I tell people, don't put any signature, and they're like, oh, I put a signature on it. I'm like, okay, well, that means that now it's going to have to go back to the post office. I work full-time now. What's the likelihood of me going to the post office to pick it up anytime soon? So there's a good chance that I'm going to miss the redelivery now, especially. And then I'm not going to be able to make it to the post office, clean it, pick it up. So where's your knife going to wind up going? Well, you just wasted money because it's going to return to sender. So that means that it gives it more time in the system. You still haven't paid, you haven't gotten it sharpened. You know what I mean? You see where I'm going with it? There was a reason for that, and people just kind of ignored it and kept, I need a bigger bowl. That only had enough room for the onions to begin with. So if you deviate from my shipping process that's on, like, the email, like how you do it, like, hey, just send it USPS. Yeah, I can't. I don't have time. I gotta move you guys back over here. I gotta get a big bowl. A mixing bowl. Be right with you. Guys, wash your hands. That's one of the best ways we can keep from spreading coronavirus. Wash them mitts. Okay. Actually, that may have fit in that other pan. Onion, sausage, and garlic. The beans are getting ready to come up to a simmer. So, for some of you guys that may have a question about this, I got word prototypes are coming probably in about a month for my new fixed blade with Kaiser. So, that's something good. Let them sit there. Artisan. Did I say Kaiser? Not artisan. If I said Kaiser, it was meant to be artisan. And my daughter is up because the dog is here. Good morning. Good morning. Can you sit? Sit. Sit. Good girl. You're not getting a treat for it. I just wanted to see if you'd sit. Oh, shit. Good puppy. Where's Isabel? Where's your girl? Is she still in bed? Did she kick you out? Were you making a bunch of noise? Were you jumping around on the bed, bothering her? I haven't heard her alarm go off yet. It's Saturday, though. She doesn't have to get up if she doesn't want to. Guys, while I'm on furlough, there's a good chance I'm going to be doing a lot. I mean, we talked about it. Probably not going to try and run up the shop. Do you have a favorite knife maker? Yes, of course I have a favorite knife maker. Oh, you want to know who it is? A couple. My favorite knife makers. Fair and Forge, of course, Elliot and Chris. Reat, but as far as like full-on custom makers, Aaron Frederick and I are like the same fucking person. Like, we were at a show and his wife fucking came up and heard us talking and she was like, "Oh fuck, there's two of him." I was like, "How's this possible? How's there another one of you?" Missy's great. She was fucking cool. Let's see, Aaron Frederick, Jim Skelton. Who else? Oh, Bob Terzuola. Bob T. One of my favorite people in the world. I love him. And I never get a chance to make it up to his shop. And now that we're dealing with this social distancing, I can't go up there. I would love to go up and see Bob and Sue. Rick Clow. Rick Clow's a good one. He's a local guy. He's a surfboard maker, but he also makes knives. He's really good at it. Yeah, so yeah. I mean, pretty much everybody. Fucking Ray Laconico. Okay, so sometimes what you think is going to be comfortable isn't. People look at this and are like, "Oh, that handle's too thick, and it's got all these sharp spots," and then they get it in hand and are like, "Oh wow, Mike put some thought into this. But Jim's like me. He's got really big hands. Thing is, when you make a knife for somebody that has big hands, a lot of times it winds up fitting the bill for a lot of people. Problem with having big hands is, like, okay, so Ashton has big hands, but they're not as meaty as mine. He does have big hands, they're longer, but when you start getting into guys with hands like mine, there's things that become uncomfortable that other people like, and that's what I was going to tell you. That's one of the things that bothers me about the deep carry pocket clips is I've got meaty, thicker hands, and it gets it in a different position. That's one of the things that just drives me. They're uncomfortable for me. They hit my hand a little different because, like, I mean, I wear double XL gloves, and my hands are like fucking 2 inches thick. Ashton's hands are not that much smaller than mine, but they're way thinner. So dimensionally, they feel different. I don't like deep carry pocket clips. But thank you for that, Ashton. If I'm your favorite fixed blade knife maker, you definitely need to look at more fixed blades. Because I am a hobbyist at best. Slenderer. If you're just slenderer than me, just in general. Don't dull your. John Grimsmo has actually been sending people my direction. So if you have Grimsmo Norseman and you want to who would be the recommended sharpener from the company, and it was built for my hands. That's what I was saying. So when you build something for somebody that has really big hands, the Guthrie, any of the Guthrie knives out of South Africa, the Guthrie Scout and things like that, great. But like the Guardian, is it the Guardian? I believe it's a small fixed blade. Fuck, I can't think of it. I talked to him on a video. They're fucking great guys. Him and his wife. I can't fucking think of it. I think it's the Guardian 3. Those handles are made for somebody with smaller hands, and it doesn't feel good in my hand. So let's look at the NTAC. NTAC is a small knife, but Elliot's a monster. He's got hands like mine. And when you grab that, it's comfortable. My NTAC, even though it's small, is comfortable. Well, hang on a second. It's right here. I got it right here. Hang on. Sorry, I had to give the dog permission to go up on the bed. So this is a small knife, but it doesn't hit any hot spots in a large hand. You know what I'm saying? My Fire and Forge NTAC. As a matter of fact, I have 2 of them. This one was my father's. It's now my daughter's. This one's mine. My dad carried the fuck out of his NTAC when he had it before he passed away. Same knife. I wanted the knives to be the same so that he had the same one as me. So I got the exact same model. Mine's been recolored a couple times and the pivot's been replaced, but these are the same knife. I did open the choil up on mine a little, as you can see, just slightly different. God, what a good choice. What a good choice for my first. It goes all the way to my pinky. Oh, was that Luke? What's up, Luke? How's that shoulder, bro? But yeah, my I have 2 of them. That's how much I like it. I like it enough. I spent another $500 and bought one for my father. Well, I didn't know you were here. Bought one for my father as a retirement gift before he passed away. Which really, he didn't have, like, he carried the shit out of that. If Neve's still here, I watch Neve's Knives channel every once in a while. I watch stuff the Grimsmo brothers put up. I like Jem Skelton's YouTube channel. He hasn't been putting up a lot of contact. I don't have pockets. I'm wearing a pair of sweatpants, so mine has been carried and broke in. It's super smooth. As a matter of fact, you can see mine gets a lot of use. The finish is, it's not showing up. There's spots where you can see I've cut stuff. There's one right there, and stuff like that. I just need to refinish the blade, but it doesn't need it. It doesn't need refinish. This is a workhorse knife. I carried this when I was still working for the government. This was always in my pocket. It's a nice size knife, and it's a good blade shape. So yeah, but what I was saying is, like, if you've got big hands, this fucking went everywhere. If you got big hands and you make a knife, even a small knife, you mean like that? Jumping on the flipper tab right here that mine has now. If you make a knife and you have big hands and you make even a small knife and you make it comfortable for your hands, good chance it's gonna be comfortable for everyone. So, man, I love this little knife. Like I said, like it enough, I bought two. I bought a case for my dad's. Let's see. So, when were these? 2015. 2015, so 5 years old. My dad's did, and so that means either he carried it. Mine will from time to time. I'm a sweaty guy. If I'm carrying it and I'm sweaty, I don't think it rusts as badly as D2, but my dad's has got some spotting on it. Yeah, my dad's has some spotting on it. Mine's been refinished a few times, but yeah, I love this little knife. What a good design. No, mine, I mean, this is a work knife. Plus, if I need to, I can always just, like I said, I can take it to the shop and refinish it. My daughter's, the only thing I'm gonna do to it is, I don't think I'm gonna change anything. I'm just gonna clean up the blade. That would be the only thing, and I will change out the rolling detent, because this rolling detent is stuck. I know for a fact it's stuck. It does not roll. But this thing just needs taken apart and cleaned up in general. It's got gunk and stuff in it. That may be a project for today while I'm cooking supper. Here's take my father's old N-Tac apart, clean it up, put it back together. So, well, that guy didn't log in, and I can't remember enough of his questions to answer them. Yes, I was actually in the process of responding, and I was like, oh, let me get everything ready. Let me get everything cooked and set up so that I can have supper ready, because this is going to take like 3 hours to cook, and then I've got to add this stuff in and cook it for another hour or two. It's going to be like dinner time by the time this is done. So I will get back to you and respond back to you. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to put this flavor packet in. I'm talking to you guys and I forgot. No, I'm not gonna do a spoon. I already did a kitchen knife, and I'm not gonna shave. Y'all know that it is getting gray. I don't know if you guys noticed. Just in the last few weeks, last few months, I'd say, I'm noticing a good bit more gray. Doing any runs soon? I don't run. If you see me running, you better start running too, because that means something horrible's happening. Oh crap, I gotta get tomato paste. And add a can of tomato paste to this too. if you guys are cooking beans, you know how beans have a tendency to foam up while you're cooking them. If you add, if you add some salts and stuff, or anything, what are you talking about? If you add something that will break up those bubbles, especially something with some fats in it, it'll keep them from foaming over. There's a little bit of, it breaks the protein coating, the starchy protein coating that's on the outside of the bubbles. Same thing as like when you drink beer and you get the head on it and you want to fucking, like there's too much foam. Yeah, basically, yeah. It's Cajun bean soup. It tastes a lot like jambalaya. I want to use canned diced tomatoes, but when I went to the store, the last time I went to the store, they did not have any. It was so hard to find. It was hard to find some of the stuff that I wanted to have. So you just make some substitutions. You going for a run? Are you going for a run?
Yes.
How long? 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I gotta take the dog out here in a few minutes.
She's gonna poke my butt with her teeth.
Be careful. Watch out. There's flooded areas.
Yeah.
Keep your phone on you so that if something happens, you can text me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not back in 30 minutes, I will come looking for you.
Make that 32 minutes because I'm gonna have to come back after the timer.
You should be wearing a mask of some sorts
Okay.
in case you run into someone. Just because, because you know you're going to want to pet someone's dog. Look, a puppy.
Sauce earlier, before I went to pet it, the lady was like, "Ah."
Budget ceramic stones? I don't know. Here's the thing, when you go, I've bought budget stones, and a lot of times you get what you pay for. Like when it comes to sharpening stones, you pretty much get what you pay for. You can get away with some things, like Big Brown Bear was showing that king stone that he had forgot. It's a ceramic. Yeah, a king. That's exactly what I was saying, and they're a good bit cheaper. I think 800 grit was the one he had. They're great. They are great, and I probably should get one. I need a new one. So, I mean, but basically, if you want to get a good sized one, hey, psst, come here. Let's get your medicine. Dog has allergies. Come here. Sit. 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 Open. Open. Good girl. Open. Ready? There we go. Okay, good job. Get out of here. I got it. It shows Sarah-ish, but softer. Got to work because of Covington. So out of work because of, Shapton stones. I don't like the Shapton glass as much as I like the Shapton, the full-size Shapton ceramics. I have a huge, I don't like those pocket stones of yours. They load too quick. The one, I do like one. One's better than the other. That was, we've talked about that. I think the second one you got, I liked better. I'm not a fan of CBN unless it's like, okay, so Big Brown Bear has a stone that he sells. They're expensive, but it's vitrified CBN. Way different than the CBN stones that I've tried. I don't like very many of the CBN stones. I just don't feel as aggressive as I would like them to be. And the thing is, it's no cheaper really than diamond. It's because you're getting too far down, or you've got stones that let me address that. So coarser stones are more likely to scratch behind your edge bevel. Let's see here, let me turn this around and we'll so what happens is coarser stones have a tendency to allow you to scratch behind your edge bevel. So especially if you have a stone that's coming apart, like a water stone or aluminum oxide stone, where you're getting stuff that's going to come apart and then scratch behind your edge bevel. So that's why you see me use that diamond plate. I don't like them, but for reprofiling, that's the way to go. The only stone I don't like out of those Edge Pro Diamond Matrix stones is the super coarse grit one, the 80 grit, because it comes apart and it allows those diamond particles, those really coarse diamond particles, to slide back behind and scratch behind the edge. I don't use it unless I absolutely have to. That's why I have that DMT extra coarse big metal plate, and that's because it allows me to get the same effect. Now that's the only one. I will, if you would like, if I can get everything together, wouldn't have the stones, but I will get my Edge Pro to you if you want to try it before you up and buy one. And then I will sell it when you're done with it. All you would have to do is get the stones. Hey, what's up, David? How's life up in the Bay Area? Is your parents' store still open? Or did they have to close? That's for David Asazawa, not David at Banner, not Blade Banner. Two different Davids here. Oh, yeah, I was gonna do something there. Got to add some seasoning. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. That's good. That's good. I was worried. Yeah. What did I have to say about Jake Hoback's knives? His knives are good. I just don't like Jake all that much. Like okay, I don't want to say it because he's the kind of guy that would come back and sue me. I just don't personally like Jake. If you got a question about why, that's something we could maybe talk about offline. It's a personal thing. It's nothing to do with his knives. His knives are good. I had a Hoback Mark III that I traded Matt 2 other knives for. Did I trade him 2 knives for that? No, I traded him a knife and cash because it was worth a good bit more than the knife we were trading. And I really think I made out on the deal. The Mark III is not a bad knife. I'm just not the Quayback, the Hoback, freaking Hoback Quayback. I'm not a fan of that. I had a K2, a Riat K2, same overall style knife. I sold it. It just is not a knife for me, but it's not a bad knife. And they are well built and things like that. There are no Vipers on the secondary. I can make you one. If you want one, I can make you one now. Problem is, and I'll just charge you just for the knife. Problem is, you will have to get a hold of Armitage Carry to get a sheath made. Because right now, he's not making custom sheaths. He's doing all of his production stuff. He's really busy with the SE stuff. So I told him to tell me, because I have a couple of my custom knives that are waiting on sheaths. But so basically what you'd have to do is, I can get the knife done for you, and then for me to eliminate having to keep stuff here and forgetting who it is and getting distracted by stuff, I would just send you the knife and then you could reach out and just pay for the sheath. I would just subtract the price of the sheath from it. So just get in touch with me. I can always make you, just email me. I will go this week. I will go this coming week and do heat treat and work in the evenings and stuff and make your knife. Speedy sharp knife sharpeners, I hate them. If it's not a stone that you are using by hand, I'm probably not going to be a fan of it. I don't like those. I don't like any of the like pull through the rod. I have a ceramic rod, but I'm not a fan. I think you're using a carbide, you're taking off too much material. And the way they're actually cutting doesn't give you the edge profile. Keensa? I've never seen them. I will always tell you that I want a Norseman. So, but guys, I will give this 15 more minutes. I'll give this till 9, and then I gotta take out the dog. You with your Demko, I will admit, it's a good knife, but holy crap. Get off his nuts. I'm just kidding, Ashton. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That was funny. Oh, I thought it was anyway. I really don't care whether you guys do or not. I don't honestly care whether you thought it was funny or not. Ashton, I sent you guys the link. That AD-15 is great. It is a good knife. I'm not gonna lie. I like the blade shape. I like the in-hand feel. It's way better knife than the Cold Steel one was. It's still not a knife that I would buy. It's not. It's not my type of knife. But absolutely, it is a very, very well done knife. And the Cold Steel ones weren't bad. The Cold Steel production ones were not bad. It's another thing. It's one of those knives. It's just not for me. Like front flippers. I'm not a big fan of front flippers. There's only a couple. I like the top flipper at EWC. But, you know, it's like cars or women. Everybody has a different taste. I prefer the ones without penises when it comes to women, you know. just my take on it in this new era. Somebody say, hang on. I was in a chat on Reddit, and one of the people comes in and is like, "Well, you're just I forget what it was. If you won't date a trans woman, which is a man that thinks he's a woman that still has all of the stuff," was the discussion. So it was I said something about it, and somebody went in and said, well, if you won't date a trans woman, then you're just transphobic. And I was like, maybe it's just the fact that I prefer my women not to have a penis. You know, I like interlocking body parts. I don't like fucking docking. No. Not the kid. Sorry. If that makes me transphobic, sign me up. I don't give a fuck. You and fucking, if you want to associate yourself with one of those fucking non-binary genders, which I don't get, that's fine. But just keep in mind that I'm going to reserve my right to judge whether you're normal. Oh my God, you bigot. Negative, I am a meat popsicle. I just think we've gone too far from our standards of what mental illness is in this country. I mean, I know I have I was once dating someone that was asexual and you didn't know it was awkward. Fucking knife discuss. Okay, who was that? Let's see here. Dan. What happens is the discussion is usually dictated by the comment section. But the Norseman, yes, the Grimspoon Norseman is the direction to go. And if there's nothing in the comment section, you're like, if if you guys want to guide the conversations we have, you got to make comments, because if you don't, this is what you get. You get whatever random stuff pops in my head. I think I'm going to trim this down just to the goatee. Oh no, a goatee is this. This is a Van Dyke. Because it's just, I don't know. We'll let it go. I'll trim it up and see how it looks. Yes. I think also, I'm not sure of practical, but what, the Norseman? I don't see the Norseman as a. I have one. Let me show you why. Wait one. So I happen to have one here, and I'll show you why. I think that they're not as. I think they're more useful than most people think they are. I like them. I like them for the same reason a lot of people like the Graham Razel. I have two distinct cutting points, and I have to look at how I've got to fix that. So this guy tumbled this knife. That's why it has no edge. You have a recurved area where you can do a lot of power cutting, and it's a deep hollow. And then you have this forward section that when you get up on it like this, you have basically a whole nother knife with a different edge profile. I find it, like, it's weird. I don't like the Graham Razel, but this is so similar to the Graham Razel. The Graham Razel is just straight. So what you wind up with is a forward, almost chiseled tip, and you can see what I'm talking about. I can get, it's like having two knives in one. You know what I mean? It's easier with that weird Tonto, and I'm not a fan of Tontos, to tell you the truth. This is one of the only Tontos I like. It lets you get up and do detailed fine work. I would never do that as aggressively and wave it around if it had already been sharpened, because right now, I couldn't cut myself if I tried. This one's gonna take a lot of repair. The reason it's still here and hasn't been sharpened yet is the customer and I had to talk. The handles are comfortable. The pocket clips aren't. The pocket clips are functional and nice. The only thing. The only thing is some of them drop to a point where they're so fucking drop shut that they will actually bounce back out of detent. Now this one is an older one. This is number 790. So this one's gonna have to get done. I may do it today if I can get the water, the lake that's in my yard cleaned up and moved so that I can reconnect power and everything to my workstation out there. I can't do this in the house. It's just my wife has forbidden me. It's been verboten. God, the action on these is great. They are a little thin, but people are like, oh, they're so thin. Well, that's making them easy to carry, but they're nice and broad. So what you lose here, you gain here, and it makes it comfortable. It's a weird thing. I love the Norseman knives. I actually have an entire video of it out on YouTube about my love-hate. I feel like after so many years, they have to. I don't know, because here's the thing. Ashton, I've talked to John a few times, and if you watch any of his stuff, John is not a knife maker. John is a machinist. He just happens to make knives. And so if you watch the insanity of how he is so, I mean, even to the point of like, if a screw does not look right, it goes in the bin, like trash. Like if the thread is just even like the threads aren't perfect, like the threads are marred or like, he's like, nope, that's not perfect. It's got to go. He is that, like the only way that could happen, the only way that it would drop is if John starts stepping away from the actual production and starts doing something in the office. And like I said, John's a machinist, and I don't foresee that happening. What would happen is Eric would take that and John would stay on the floor. John is one of those guys that's constantly trying to improve. Well, no, he's got more people working there now. So what you're seeing is they're pumping out more knives because now they have, I think they got like 4 employees. John, Eric, Eric's father-in-law, some other guy, a girl. I don't know why you guys have a problem with RWL 34. RWL 34 is one of my favorite steels. It fucking sharpens nice and easy. It takes a gorgeous crisp edge and it holds it fairly well. I don't understand why people are so like, it's a garbage budget steel. Go try to buy it because I got news for you. Everybody that bashes on RWL 34 is like, oh my God, Damasteel is so good. Damasteel, it's the same basic steel. It's the same basic steel. See, I don't foresee there being Ashton a time where like you go like, oh, that's where Grimsmo kind of just declined. I did a whole video about pins and not seeing the fucking sense in the price. Like, I can't find it, but I have an $80. Well, this guy, where'd it go? There it is. I got an $80 tack pin that this was a gift from Alex over at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Is it a good pin? No, it's uncomfortable. Look at it. Like, it just looks painful to hold. But you can use it as a Kubotan and things like that. So, I just don't see, I have 3 tactical pins sitting here. I do, this one and my Wii are like my 2 favorites. Yep, Brian Nadeau. I talk to Brian all the time. There's a lot of stuff that Brian has that gets scrapped. You know? No, that's not. There it is. So, this guy actually, the guy that sent me this Norseman, I called him and talked to him on the phone. Grew up in the same area. Went to the same high school. He went to West Lafayette to Ridgewood High School. I went there. I know fucking people. That's the one thing I would say about Grimsmo knives. They need desperately to have more designs. Having 2 designs, I mean, granted, I love them both, but you can't. I say that, but then there's the Koenig knives. They only have like a couple designs. I only have like 3 designs. Keep your eyes out, guys. There's some knives coming out from my buddy Christian over at Cerberus Knives. He's got several designs that are coming out through Artisan, and they're going to be good. He's one of those kids that he's been sitting around just making knife designs. And then what he's doing is he's also really good at 3D printing. So he's printing proof of concept. He also makes scales. He does a proof of concept scale for fit up, and then he takes that and he accounts for shrinkage in the 3D printing matrix and then makes them out of micarta and does runs of them. And from what I understand, he's doing a really good job with the fit up and everything. People are buying them. Christian Ortiz over at Cerberus Knives. You don't follow him on Instagram, you should. And then there's a couple guys that I'm going to do a video and I'm going to link them. Because I gotta go. I have to take this dog out. She's looking at me like, if you don't go, I'm gonna pee on the floor. So I will talk to you guys later. I'll get this soup up. I'm probably gonna try and shoot a video today if I start sharpening this. So I will talk to you guys later and have a good weekend. Stay safe. Stay the fuck home if you don't have to go anywhere. Like, my kid has to go for a run. There's just no way around it. But stay the fuck home. Later, guys.